We did an experiment to find out if plants and fish need each other to survive. To do this, we had 3 containers of water.
In this one, we had 3 fish alone, just kind of hanging out. And in this one, we had 8 beans, and in this one, we had 3 fish and 8 more beans.
Every single tank had a bubbler in it, so the water would be oxygenated so the fish wouldn't die. We had screens for the beans to grow on, because they can't just grow directly into water. And every single tank was given fish food.
Go.
Alright, so we're going to be explaining hypotheses that we had for this experiment. And my hypothesis for beans and fish was that the beans will grow into vines, and that is because the fish will give them nutrients out of their excrement, and the fish will have oxygen to live off of because of the plants, and they'll live happily ever after. And the beans, just the beans, I said that they would live also because they have sunlight and water to help them grow. And the fish, just the fish, they will die because they'll just be living in their own excrement.
For my hypothesis for just fish, I believe that the fish would die like pretty fast because of the contaminated water that they're living in, and because of the lack of nutrients for them. For the just beans, I said that my hypothesis is that the beans will grow if there is enough access to sunlight and water so they can create photosynthesis. And for beans and fish, I said that the beans wouldn't grow because the fish would, the water would be in its own, it'd be contaminated water, so the fish can't grow. The fish will die, and the beans won't grow.
My hypothesis for just fish was that the fish would live for a little period of time, but then in the end begin to die, for the water would get contaminated and the fish will get poisoned and die, maybe get diseases, such stuff like that. My hypothesis for just beans was that the beans would just grow, but they wouldn't really need any sort of nutrients, but just have water and photosynthesis to allow them to grow and live. And for the beans and fish, I thought that they live really good together because as within rivers and ponds and streams, the plants and the fish live together and the water's cleansed and they can grow.
Alright, so I'm here to talk about the results of the experiment, and I am doing the results for just fish. And as you can see, just like the hypothesis of some of the people, they said the water was going to get contaminated and the fish would die, and that's a dead fish. So yeah, and obviously that water's contaminated, so the fish died from it. So yeah, all done.
I am here to do the results of just beans. And some people thought the plants would just die and some thought they would live. But they were only half right, because only one plant lived. And yeah,
Okay, I'm going to talk about the results for fish and beans. And most people thought that the fish and beans would both live. They were right. The fish are alive and all 8 of the beans grew. And the measurements were from 18 to 26 inches. Pretty tall plants.
The basis of our interpretation revolved around the idea of the nitrate cycle. The first step is the excrement from the fish, which is processed by the bacteria into ammonia. This process is called ammonification. Following these bacteria are similar species that transform the ammonia into nitrate, and yet another bacteria that changes these molecules into nitrate, which the plant ideally consumes.
In a container with just the fish, the nitrate level was 200 parts per million, and the nitrate level
was 80 parts per million. The fish died because of the poisonous nitrate in their water.